How's it going, everyone? Today we'll be taking a look at blueprints, how we can create them, delete them, place them, and then by the end of the video I'll be showing you my favorite blueprint I find myself using often. But before we do that, let's take a look at this sandbox, I call it, this sandbox environment that I set up, and I'll show you how I set that up. If we go back to the lobby, the map I'm using is the full metal plate, so plenty of metal, it's a big map. And then the AI I'm using is the inactive AI. And that's really nice. So it places a commander down and it doesn't create any units. So you don't have the AI messing with you while you're trying to experiment. So that's the environment we're working in. If I return to that map and I set up some buildings here that we could try to turn into blueprints. And I have some tier 2, tier 3. And then here at the beginning, I have the T1. And we'll start off with some T1 buildings. We'll turn this into a blueprint. So the first thing you probably want to do is save your first blueprint. And to do that, you can select a building. So if you select, let's say, the construction turret, and now you'll notice down here the save blueprint. Yes, you guessed it. That's what you want to press, or you could hit Alt-C. But usually you want multiple buildings. So let's select multiple. So I'll select this one, hold down Shift, select the second one here, and then select the converter here and some wind turbines. Now it matters what order you select your building, so it will start with a wind turbine when the construction bot starts building it and start working its way this way, and it will also place the buildings in the same location that you see here. So just keep that in mind. So let's save this as a blueprint, and now let's try to build this or place the blueprint. And I'm going to try to use a T2. And I want to show you why I can't use the T2. I'm going to move the T2 up here and then select the place blueprint or Alt B. And now you'll notice when we try to place this blueprint that we created, you'll notice all the yellow squares. That basically means you can't place it. So if I try to place it, T2 just sits there and does nothing. And that also goes for if you try to place it on top of uneven terrain or where you can't build a building and or a building that already exists. Notice the red squares. So when this blueprint starts getting built, it would just skip the red squares, and it also skips the yellow squares. So the T2 does nothing. So you need a T1 since these are T1 buildings to build that. Also, if I try to use the commander and I place blueprint, notice the turrets or the construction turrets, they're yellow. So I can't build them with a commander, but I can build the green squares. Now, if I select the T1, I can build them all. Now, you can select all three as long as you got a T1 in there. Now you can place it all. And the commander, for example, will boost the T1. Now we don't actually want to build that. I don't actually want that blueprint. So I'm going to delete it. To delete it, you go to place blueprint. And then, as you can see there, Alt-D. So I'm going to select Alt-D. And delete. I have a few other in there. I'll go ahead and delete them all. So now I have no more blueprints. And then to rotate through them all, you can hit Alt, right or left bracket. But I use Alt and I scroll with the mouse, and I'll show you that in a second. But let's create a blueprint we actually want. So I'll select this one like we did before, and I'll build all these. And then I will want to go back and build another one of these, and then go over here and build them. For some reason, I can't select these two turrets, so I'll just skip over that. Then I go back here, build that, and then build these. That looks like a good blueprint, and let's save it. Now let's place it. So I need a T1 to place this, so I'll grab that, and then we'll place it. Now I want to rotate this. I don't want the construction turrets on the left. I want them to be with the other ones here. So I would rather rotate this. So to do that, you hold down shift and right or left bracket, and that will rotate it. And then it should remember it. So if you hit place blueprint, it should remember that position. So I'll just place this. And I'll go ahead and add these guys to boost. And that should start building that out. Now, a blueprint can also have buildings within it. As you can see here, you could turn this all into a blueprint. I'll save that. And I got a T1 here. You need a T1 unit to build all this. Place it. And I did not include the building. I must have missed it. Let's do that again. And for some reason, I can't select the building. I'm having a bug for some reason. But you can create... Oh, there we go. Now, let's see if it'll let me do it. Okay. Now, if we try to place a blueprint, so it's like this. And there it is. And you could have blueprints with buildings in it. That's what I was trying to show you there. And that's T1. Now T2, you could do a combination. Well, you could do all T2, of course. You could turn this into a blueprint. But you can also do a combination of T2 and T1. So let's turn this into a blueprint. So the construction turns are T1. This fusion reactor is T2. And then the advanced energy converters are T2s. I'm going to turn that into a blueprint. And then now to create that, notice the fusion reactor and also the converters are yellow. So basically this T1 alone will not build all of this. Again, that goes for T2. The T2 is its opposite. It won't build the turns. Just keep that in mind. So I'll have to select both of them. And I'll drop this. And it will build both. Now you could also do defenses. So for example, T1. Let's say for example you're having trouble on the front line. You're at a stalemate. And you need to throw down some quick defenses. This is one I've used often actually. So I'm going to turn this into a blueprint. I'm going to select this one. I usually build the turret first. This second, so we'll hide everything. This jammer. And then this. And then save that as a blueprint. And you'll need a T1. A T1 can build all of these. And there it is. And that's really nice. So if you got a construction bot on the front line and you're getting rushed, you're running in all kinds of trouble, you're at a stalemate, you could just quickly drop this and get back to the front line. And then that also goes for T2. And you'll need a T2 bot for that. Now you could do huge blueprints. Like you could turn this entire thing into a blueprint. I personally, this is just a personal preference. I don't like big blueprints. I like to go with small blueprints like this. And I could work around, other buildings and terrain, So I like to go small personally. But you could go big. You could go with up to 100 items, I think, within a blueprint. So you could do something like that. And then also, you could set this up within a blueprint. What I also like to do as a blueprint, so you could build, let's say you need to build spam really quickly. You could put all this in a blueprint. But me personally, again, I like to go small. So I like to do something like this. And turn that into a blueprint instead of doing all 4. Because what if you don't want 4? Let's say you only need 1 or 2. Then you can't use your blueprint. So now I have that as a blueprint. And I am going to select a unit now. And then place. Oops, I accidentally had a bunch of them over here selected. You see that? So let's delete that. So I'm going to hit Alt and D. And that should remove it. And now I'm going to create a new one. And then save. And then let's try that again. So I'm going to place. And let's say you want only a couple of them. And there you go. Now, my personal favorite blueprints, I kind of gave it away a little bit. I like it small. So I like something like this. But this is not my favorite. But I like to go with small ones like that. But my favorite, my number one, I got two favorites. My first one is this one here. And the reason is I could grab a T1 construction bot and just put them on this, just assign them on this and don't touch them. Just let them build this entire thing. By the time this is built, I'm ready to start moving on to T2 or, start working my way that direction or throw in an airport, or a second building. So I noticed that I use this a lot when I'm on the front line. So this is my favorite blueprint, this one right here. And then my second favorite is the defense T1 defense. And I use this often. So let's say you're on the front line and you're at a stalemate. I drop these a lot. So I usually have a construction bot on the front line somewhere. And let's say I'm getting overwhelmed. I'll have the T1 on the back a little bit, move them back and have them drop this. That's my second favorite blueprint. Leave in the comment section what is your favorite blueprint. Do you like the big blueprints, small blueprints? If I left anything out in this video, just let me know. And thank you for watching.